What's going on? What's going on? Happy holidays to all. Happy New Year's to everybody from Big Lock TV. How y'all feeling tonight, man? We are going to present to you a great interview tonight. So I want everybody to sit back, relax, chill, you know, get your holiday eggnog on and relax, have a good time. But we're finna have some great information. We're finna interview a great individual in the game right now, Miss Latasha Jacobs, uh, black female gun instructor, killing things out there in Kansas City, Missouri. I got her in the back chat right now. We got some great questions loaded up for y'all. For any of y'all who want to ask questions, please feel free to do so in the comment section. Later on in the podcast, we will open things up for people to talk with Miss Latasha Jacobs, asking the questions if y'all need to real quickly. And we're going to let her get out of here and enjoy the rest of her holidays and let everybody else, do that thing as well. So let's get to the show. Welcome to the stage, Miss Latasha Jacobs, owner operator of Synergy Tactical.
Hello.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you for coming. I appreciate your time. I know holidays and you came right in time. So I appreciate you for being able to make this happen.
Absolutely.
So how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I went to the range today. I was not expecting to go to the gun range. So that's always a highlight for me. So I'm feeling good.
I told you I was a little jealous.
You
I
said what?
told I told you I was a little jealous when you told me you was going to the range because it's been a minute since I've been able to go to the range. So
So I wish I could have went to the caves, but I had to settle for an indoor gun range. So
the cage, what's that?
caves. We have caves, like underground caves here.
Okay. I've seen that a few times on your Instagram. That's dope.
Yeah, so we get down in the caves and we shoot.
That's amazing. So I gotta check something out like that because I ain't never shot in a cave. Like I think that's a law out here. You can't shoot in a cave or you can't shoot from a cave. That's just one of the
Huh.
rules of shooting outside here in Alabama.
Now we got full blown ranges down in our caves, but I mean our caves go from state to state. You can travel all through them, like our trucks and stuff go through them. But there's dedicated space just for gun ranges down here. I'm jealous of people who get to shoot outdoors all the time. I don't have that opportunity.
That is one of the beautiful things we have in Alabama. We do have the distance in some areas to stretch it out to 500-600 and in some places 1,000.
I wish. I mean, we had yeah. I gotta go out. I gotta do a little driving and
Yeah, you gotta have the equipment though. You gotta have something that can punch out there. You gotta have the scope. You gotta have the bullet.
It's a lot.
It takes.
Going to the range is a lot. You gotta prepare yourself. It's a
You're not lying there because you can't shoot everything you have. You have to almost prep or build up into the point where you can safely go shoot.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a job to prepare yourself to even go shooting, and then once you get there, so but it's all worth it.
You most definitely. Um, how long have you been a firearm instructor?
An instructor for a year and a half, about a year. Yeah, yep, year and a half. I've been in it. No, hold on, it's December. 2 years. I've been an instructor. I'm going into my second year of being an instructor, through USCCA. And prior to that, I was just doing like taking that tribal knowledge, something somebody else taught me, and passing it along or piecing it together with other information that somebody else taught me. And then finally I went and got certified and started listening to those who have also been in it long enough to be knowledgeable and not just listening to homie down the street who's just telling me what he heard from the other homie. So
I I'm sorry. Hold on.
you need your mason jar of water.
You not lying. Hold up.
Got to keep some water close.
Got to. Woo, we back. I'm sorry. So USCCA, you became a firearm instructor in about a year and a half of being a firearm instructor now. And you said you at first you started out, you was just like piecing information together,
Yeah.
um, just taking information and just helping people on, like correcting small mistakes people was making, and just you were known for that, in a sense.
Not necessarily known for it. For me, it was I became a owner just because I'm a single mother. And so I just wanted to make sure me and my kids were straight. And I would start trying to go to the gun range because I'm like, I need to know how to use this gun or these guns or whatever. And I would go to the gun range and feel uncomfortable, or somebody would try to come over and correct me, things like that. So I started piecing together a little bit of information here and there, or seeing other people shoot and how they may do their stance and things like that. And then I would give that information to like my sisters or my nephew when I would take them to the gun range. But one day it clicked, like you don't even know for sure if what you are doing is right. And then you're passing along incorrect information to somebody else. So that's what motivated me to, one, become not necessarily an instructor, because I don't believe you have to be an instructor in order to be considered an expert or knowledgeable. But it just helped me get my experience together, helped me learn the right avenues or paths to go down and ask questions, go to the right people. I used to post up at the gun store down the street. I would get off work at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would just sit at the gun store, just up there talking to them, asking questions, listening, all of that.
I think we two peas in a pod on that. That's the reason I asked. I feel like that's how I am now, and I feel like I'm interviewing you to see where I need to go, because that's something I've always looked into. And DJ Play Nice asked a great question. That was gonna be the next thing I was gonna ask. What is the certification process like for the USCCA? Because I would love to become a firearm instructor one day. I feel like the whole point of this YouTube thing was to inform and help people. And I feel like what better way to do that around a two-way conversation than being a firearm instructor.
Yep.
So what is that process like?
So for USCCA, when I went through it about 2 years ago, it was a 2 day. Well, first they give you like e-learning, to where you have to log in and pass these like 8 modules or 10 modules, pass each one with a certain percentage. And it will be going over some of the information that you would end up teaching, basically. So then the after you do that, and it's self-paced, as long as you have it done by the end date, if you could do it all in one day or in 2 days, if it take you 2 weeks, however long it takes you to do the e-learning. So that's part one. Part two is an in-person class. So you go look for a 2 day in-person class with the USCCA. I forgot what their name is, but they are like the instructor's instructor. So they teach you how to become an instructor. And you sit there for 2 days, and it's literally a classroom you're going through. They might have you getting up and reciting or trying to communicate this slide. So they may have a slide up on the screen, and they're like, okay, now you get up and teach what the material that's on the slide. So you will do that, go back and forth, have like a test. And then at the end of the second day, there is a range portion. So you will go into the range, fire. But what my instructor did, and of course, I don't know if all instructors do that, she paired us up. So it was myself and one other gentleman, and we were in a lane together. And my job was, of course, just to shoot, try to be as accurate as I can. His job was to be my instructor. So he was telling me, okay, watch your stance. Make sure you're breathing, you look tight, relax your shoulder. So he was like giving me that feedback, and then we would switch. So then that made me comfortable when I would go to the range with individuals, as I'm not only watching them downrange, I'm also watching their body. I'm watching their trigger. I'm watching to see if they hold their breath, because you'll be surprised how many people don't breathe when they're shooting for whatever reason. So just going through that. So that's a little bit high level of the process. After that, you get signed off. They send you like a welcome packet in the mail with some books, some posters, different things that you may need to get started. So that's how you get certified through USCCA. And then there's a second certification process through the state that you want to teach in.
DJ Play Nice said, "Are you going to seek out any other certifications like the NRA?"
I am a certified RSO range safety officer through the NRA. So I did get that certification through the NRA, but when it comes to conceal and carry, or home defense or conceal and carry instructor certification, I did the research and I asked enough questions to people who have both or who have done one or the other, and I decided on USCCA. So for me, I'm sticking with USCCA certification. If it comes to the point that USCCA is no longer around or no longer offering that, then I will go through the NRA. But for now, I'm sticking with USCCA for my certification for conceal and carry, and I'd have I'm certified range safety officer through NRA.
How has your life changed since becoming a firearm instructor? I'm pretty sure it's a complete night and day difference. Just explain like what your life was like before and what it's like now that you're an instructor.
It's
Like,
busy. It's busy. So on top of becoming an instructor, within 6 months of me getting certified and starting my to be an instructor, I quit my main job, my 9 to 5, and I started managing a gun store up the street. And so the one that I would go to and just learn and ask questions. So I started managing that store, which was great. Like, I appreciate the deep dive that I got initially, like immediately going into this, because I learned how to build rifles. I learned some basic gunsmithing techniques. I know difference between what we were talking about, what M-Lock and dang, I can't even think of it now.
Mod.
Thank you. Keymod and M-Lock. So it's just things like that a lot of people, the differences in mags, the importance. Guys come in all the time talking about how their firearm isn't racking or is not working right. Like, it's important to take it to the range. Have you taken it to the range? No. Well, go shoot it first. Don't come and say something broke or something wrong with it if you haven't even took it to try to shoot it. Just cycling around through is not going to repair. So it's just little things that I learned from that. So I appreciate that. But outside, I'm back into the industry that I was in before I started getting into guns. But with that, being a Black woman, working at a gun store, I was an instructor, and I had like a big push the first year to teach as many kids situational awareness or about firearms as I could, because there were a lot of kids getting hurt accidentally with firearms. I just about every day I go out somewhere, somebody's like, "Oh, you the gun girl. Oh, you the girl with the guns. Oh, you." So it's like I get recognized, but it's gotten busy, because on top of working a 9 to 5, then in the evenings or on the weekends, that's when I have the opportunity to teach, or when I have the opportunity to do gunsmithing or whatever else that it is I want to do, or even just go to the range. So it's like it's constant. It's constant.
So you say that you're from Kansas City, Kansas,
I'm from Kansas City, Kansas. Yes.
but you're active out in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri. Okay.
Yes. And
Okay.
I'm certified to teach in both states, so I can teach in Kansas or Missouri.
Okay. With that being said, what's the gun laws like out there? Because I know you was describing like how busy you are, how much you work. Like, what's the gun laws like out there? I'm pretty sure. Is it like lenient like Alabama? Is it like uptight like
I
Chicago
would
and
love to know what
Illinois?
what it's like in Alabama, because I always tell people it's the Wild West out here. In the state of Missouri, you do not have to have a permit to purchase, carry, open, or conceal. So you can walk around with, I literally walked around with an AR on my back before. It was a pistol, but an AR pistol on my back before. I walked around with a 1911 on my thigh, going in and out of Walmart and the grocery store. So you can open and or conceal carry in the state of Missouri and Kansas without a permit whatsoever. And you don't need a permit to buy. You just, as long as you are of age and your background check passes, you can buy firearms. You don't need, I know some states have a permit that you need to get in order to buy every firearm. You don't need that. So in 2020, we also have a law that passed that our law enforcement, state law enforcement, does not have to not abide by, but they don't have to cooperate with federal agents. So federal agents come into the state of Missouri and they want to go through their conceal and carry records. If they want to go through different things when it comes to our local state law enforcement, we do not have to cooperate, which I truly am grateful and appreciate that, because just this year, the feds tried to come in and audit all Missouri conceal and carry permit holders' information. So, like your application that you submit into the sheriff's department, they tried to say, "Hey, we want to come in and audit that information." And every sheriff's department that they reached out to said no, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Mm. And that's why it's important to vote on the local level as well, ladies and gentlemen. As well, ladies and gentlemen. That's some information there for you.
Is it like that in Alabama? What is it like in Alabama as far as what you can and can't do?
In Alabama, at this very moment, you have to have a permit in order to conceal carry. That's changing after the beginning of the year. I would still recommend anybody, whatever state you in, go get your permits, go get whatever it is they telling you if it is, because I think we're moving to the conceal. I mean I forget the name of it. What is it called? The incident where the guy in the mall, Eric Dickinson.
Mm.
Whatever law that is that they have operating at the beginning of the year, you don't have to have a permit to carry. You don't have to have a permit in order to carry, but I would still recommend anybody still go. But other than that, you don't have to have a permit to go purchase. Just need a license and a clean background. That's all that is. You can open carry.
Okay, I got a question for you. What are your feelings on open carrying?
Take a swig of water on that. I do not like open carry. I feel like it's appropriate for the range. I feel like it's appropriate for police officers. But I feel like anybody who's carrying a gun, I feel like they should carry it concealed. I feel like a lot of people use it as that tool of showing power and dominance, or that's what they want to offshow. But in a sense, to me, I just like carry conceal. I just like in the incident where something was to happen, somebody felt like they had to do something, and if they felt like I'm a target anything that could step in the way of what I'm trying to accomplish, and if you're one of them people because he sees your weapon, you've given yourself away. So, in a sense, I just like conceal.
I agree. I spent one summer open carry as often as I could. And the reason because I do, especially as a Black man, and of course I don't know your plight, but as a Black man, I understand why you don't, because you're already enough of a target in some situations. There's no need to offer it even more. But for me, I decided to open carry. The main reason I did it was because I was used to, and most of us are used to seeing white men carrying firearms.
Mm-hmm.
But the Black community is usually the most affected by firearms. So I took it upon myself to open carry, and that one engaged a lot of people. It got a lot of people walking up to me asking me questions, but it also helped break that stigma, or maybe make some people a little bit more comfortable to see a Black woman, not only Black, but a woman carrying a firearm. Okay, now that's, you know what I mean? Like, that would impact me if I was younger and I saw that, compared to only seeing police or only seeing, negative images of it. That would have impacted me a lot more as a kid, if I would have seen that growing up, seeing a Black woman carrying a firearm. So, but it also, of course, as an instructor, brought me new business, because people were like, oh my God, you can do that? Isn't that illegal? No, it's not. Let me tell you all about the laws. Come to my class.
Okay. That's dope. Did you get a lot of the men like, oh, you might want to put that up? Did you get that?
Yeah, no, not really. Men are weird with me when it comes to guns. I don't know why, but a lot of men are weird. If I asked them, like if I had the conversation with them like I'm doing with you, then they would say pretty much the same thing that you would, that they wouldn't want a target on their back, and they're gonna be the first person that somebody takes out. So they would usually have that conversation, but now they wouldn't. No, not just like that. I would usually have, especially older older individuals, men or women, would come up and ask me questions. But yeah, men don't until they saw me actually back there working on guns with my nails, they would just think that, oh, you know, just like a lot of women, you just a beautiful woman or a cute woman with a gun and you just doing it just to show off or get attention. Like, nah, I really do this. I'm really about this life.
Really about this life.
I'm really about
it. I've always caught myself correcting. I feel like I'm more comfortable trying to correct women. Like if they were doing something wrong or if it's something that they can improve on. Because I've seen on your page and countless others of ways that you can conceal carry in a nice, classy way. And I respect that. And it's important like to get the appropriate gun, train with that gun and train with that form of concealment. Because I understand a lot of women put their gun in their purse.
Yep.
And me as a man and me as a thinker, I know the first thing if I'm going to steal something from you is going to be the purse.
Right. See, the thing with that is, even though I've shown or I have videos where I got on a dress or a fitted outfit or whatever the case, it's still difficult. There's still truly some days that I cannot carry my firearm on my person simply because, especially if you're a smaller stature woman, it's going to show regardless. Like it's going to show. So it can be very difficult. And that's one thing. Although I show the videos of me carrying it with, you know, different outfits on in the summertime, there's no way I can carry a firearm on me for real. I mean, unless I completely change up my lifestyle, my wardrobe, everything. And that's one thing I told myself I would not do when it came to guns. I would not switch up my lifestyle like that. I still want to be me. I still want to be a woman. I still want to wear dresses. I still want to wear tank tops in the summertime. So I'm going to have to find another way to do this thing. And it might be a fanny pack. I can't necessarily have it on my body, but I got a fanny pack instead of a purse. Right. So there are different ways, but as women, it is extremely difficult for us to ensure that we have it on our person all the time, every day, simply because it's, I mean, our clothes fit different than y'all's. Unless y'all want us walking around here in baggy sweatpants and t-shirts and that's what y'all, no.
Nah. Ladies, do what you want, you know, but, I have a wife, you know, I just highly preach on like, and then if you do have it in your purse, just your situational awareness. Where is your purse? When you are walking, are you mindful? Are you on your phone? Are you alert? You know, how fast can you get to it? And then are you training that concept? Is it secured in your purse, or do you got to dig out, you know, the edge cream and
everything in there?
Oh,
because you know what? But the conceal and carry purses, the purses that they have for us are hideous half of the time. Majority of the time, they're ugly as hell. I don't want these rhinestones and this belt buckle on the side of my purse. Why do I need all that to have a concealed purse? So no, there are ways you can do it, but yeah,
it all makes perfect sense. My next question is, what drove the inspiration to become a firearm instructor?
Going back to when I used to go to the gun range, I would go by myself, just because I was the only person that I knew close enough to me that was actively trying to get better at and hone in on those skills. And so I would go to the gun range, but I would get in there and I would feel so nervous, so uncomfortable, because it was 98% white men. And I'm like, ooh, this was around the first of 2020 when we was having some issues and things was kind of clashing. So I would go on the range and I would spend 15 minutes literally on a range for 15 minutes. I ain't got time to really load up my magazine, switch out, nothing. So I would maybe throw down 10 rounds down the range before I'm like, okay, I'm sweating, I'm uncomfortable, I'm ready to go. And it wasn't the gun, it was these people walking behind me with loaded guns. And it was just like, I feel so uncomfortable. And something clicked for me. It's like, if I feel uncomfortable, I know other Black women feel uncomfortable. And if none of us are training because we all feel uncomfortable, somebody got to step up. Like somebody got to step up. And so eventually what I did was I started taking my family, started getting comfortable. Then I started going with a marksman and a gentleman who was also a certified instructor before I got my own certification. But for me, it was just somebody had to lead, or be the guinea pig, whatever you want to call it, to get us, especially, well, right here where I'm from, Black women comfortable, to the point that I founded a Black owned or a Black gun club, a women's only Black gun club. And that was the picture that you put up, the flyer that you put up. That was an award that I won at the end of last year. But it was just like, hey, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to help us get comfortable with our right. It is our right. We deserve it. And I stepped out and started doing it. Go to the range all the time, invite people out here however I can. But it was, again, so that Black women would get comfortable. And I saw a lot of kids getting hurt, and I just wanted to educate them on situational awareness, and as well as gun safety.
Well, let's take the time to give you your flowers. Anybody, if y'all watching right now, throw them claps up in the comment section. But for real, we thank you for being who you are, and we want to give you your flowers, because that's definitely a high vibrating person right there, Miss Latasha Jacobs. I felt the same way in many of the ways that you speak about helping people and wanting to help the youth and just change the environment that we're in. And I appreciate you for going out on that limb and doing what you do, because you're helping a lot of people, and you will continue to help a lot of people.
Thank you.
So most definitely appreciate you. I see you all developed a bunch of time to children gun safety. Why is it important to teach gun safety to the youth?
Mainly kids getting hurt, accidental shootings. We just had a 4-year-old here a couple weeks ago that shot himself, just because there was a loaded gun out. So of course I can't teach a 4-year-old, but getting a little bit older, I just thought about the fact that my daughters, they may spend a night at a cousin's house, a friend's house, and that person may have a gun unloaded. And of course, kids, they're curious, and these kids are so used to video games that they don't realize the magnitude and how like the difference real life is when it comes to firearms. So for me, it was important initially, so that if my daughters were ever in a situation where there was another firearm around, I know that they could have done whatever they could to protect themselves and anybody around it. So if it was nothing else other than clearing it and making sure that there was nothing in there, took the mag out, round out, and then handing it to an adult, or just making sure that everybody else around it could respect the firearm as well. So that was the initial. And then after that, again, I kept waking up to a kid got hurt here, 13, 14-year-old shot over here over whatever the situation is. And again, it became important to teach the basics of firearms just so they're aware, but also that situational awareness. I think about these kids on the bus stop. I think about, just whatever the case may be. I saw some kids getting off the city bus today. Are you aware? Are you prepared to drop anything that you have in your hands, which a lot of us aren't? Throw down that laptop, drop that phone, so you can, create some distance and protect yourself. How to use a pencil as extra leverage. Put that pencil, that pen in between your knuckles, and if you need to hit somebody, at least you got a little bit of extra leverage. Being somebody who may be smaller or younger and doesn't have the, as much strength. So that's where a lot of the education for the kids came from. And then it was amplified when I was in the Black Panther Party, because of course we had our Cubs, and if we learn it, we need to teach them, because these kids are coming up behind us, so they need to know. And I wish I would have learned earlier on, rather than my parents just saying, hey, don't touch that, it's bad for you.
I agree so much. I feel like by being our Second Amendment, like you said, that's what we see. We see the murders, we see it on the news clips, they see it on the games, they see it on the movies that we watch. The guns are always portrayed in that manner, so that's the first thing the mind runs to in the mind of the youth, is that's what it's for. And in a sense, guns were built and designed, yes, to it was built for war, but we've created so many rounds around guns and the safety of them that it's become another space for people. It's become a place for peace for me, and I know it's peaceful to you to go to the range and let some rounds off now without having to sweat, and you ain't got, you
Yep.
know, people, bothering, you able to relax and be comfortable. So preaching that gun safety and the tips and everything that it is to it, because it started with me at the age of 6, and it changed the impact of how I view things in life now. Because I know the destruction that guns can bring, but I also know that, I killed my first deer. I was, learned by taught by my dad. It was time spent with, my best friends. It was time spent with family. It was time spent with girlfriends. Guns is, played a major part of, in our lives. It's most definitely important that we keep that education at
We
top.
just got to remember that it's a tool. It's not end all be all. A gun is a tool. It's how we use it. So even the gun isn't destructive. The gun causes destruction, but we are the reason why. So it's a simple tool. That gun gonna sit on the shelf and not hurt, harm, or touch, not do anything until somebody comes and picks it up. But we don't have that understanding, and that's what's important.
Hey man, you never lied. It's been such a blessing having you. I got a couple more questions for you tonight, if I can have a few more minutes of your time.
I got plenty of water. Let's go.
Why the mason jar though? That's I like it, because I told you I'm from Alabama. We country around here.
Okay, so I am big on, not big, but I'm big enough on the environment. I don't like water bottles. I'm gonna give you a quick story. I bought a 40 pack of water from Walmart one day, right? It was a Sunday. By Wednesday, half of the pack was gone. It was just me and my 2 daughters. But you know how with kids, they open the bottle, drink a little bit, and then set it down, and they're like, I don't know who water that is. So I had collected all these like half drink water bottles, and I'm drowning my plants trying to, I'll use it for my plants. And I'm like, hold the hell on. First of all, y'all waste the money. It's just too much. So I ended up getting a water cooler system, which has been the best investment I've ever made in like the last 3 years for my home. It's, like the water coolers you have at work.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those. I have one of those in my house. So I don't have the bottles. So I'm saving the environment by not having to recycle all these bottles. And it's just, I always got cold water, cold, fresh water. My spring water, they deliver to my front door. I ain't got to carry this big case of water back and forth. I don't like tap water. So that is why it's in a mason jar, because I had to get it out the little cooler. And here we are.
What was in that mason jar before that water though?
So you didn't ask what was in my Golden Girls cup. I got the Golden Girls cup, right?
Thank you for being a friend.
Huh?
Thank you for being a friend.
Absolute cheers. So this got a little razzle dazzle in it. This is the little razzle dazzle. Look,
you got it mixed up.
I'm at home. When I get to this, I'm about to relax. So
it's the holidays. We trying to get right back to it. Oh man. So I also know that you in the financial game. Is that true?
I am. I've been working in banking for 10 years.
10 years. Tell us about some of your financial achievements. So I know you own and operate Synergy Tactical. Is there any other businesses that you want to shout out to the chat today?
Yes, a little bit. Well, not really. Well, guns is the thing for me. That's my main thing. Outside of doing finances, so what I do in banking right now, I teach financial education in the urban core. So I go into the areas that banks have historically left out or not lended to, or whatever the case, and I teach financial education and offer products and resources that those individuals, or we, because hell, I'm in the urban core, that we might need. So I teach Black and brown people about money, which I love and appreciate. I love my job, what I do right now. Outside of that, I am a travel agent. So I do, if you pay attention to my story, I got a Costa Rica trip. So if anybody want to go to Costa Rica, we're going in May. It's going to be fun. But yeah, I do group bookings. So I do group trips. We just took over Houston and Kansas City. The Chiefs, we take over a city every year, and we just did Houston. I sold out a bunch of rooms up.
I'm a Saints fan. Who that?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what we're trying to figure out. Who is that? Who's that?
I
Uh,
don't know. Hey, but that they let you know you a fan. See, it's rain, sleet, snow around here. We
yeah, that's real.
you
That's
feel
real. So yeah, do travel. So I sold a bunch of rooms down in Houston. Got a Cancun trip coming up, Costa Rica, Hawaii. I'll be out here traveling. And then the
right.
last thing that I did, I don't necessarily know if it was a business, but one thing that I'm very much an advocate for is figuring out how I can leave wealth for my kids. One day I will be a billionaire, but until then, the best I can do for them is to leave them some type of asset. So I got into real estate. I owned a fourplex, on a duplex, and at the beginning, it'll be a year in February. In February of this year, I bought 9 acres of land along the lake. Undeveloped, is just sitting. It's probably gonna get flipped, but so I do a little bit of dabbling in real estate.
Once you understand the financial core of
It's a
everything
wrap.
else falls in place.
It's a wrap. The
I
number
mean,
one thing I can tell anybody about finances is budget. If you have a budget and you stick to it, you can pay down that debt. You can go on them trips. You can do a lot. You just got to stay disciplined. It ain't
woo,
easy.
woo, let them know it's because it ain't.
It ain't. It's worth it, but it ain't easy.
Yeah, because I viewed your page. I was like firearm instructor, and I was like, but it also says finance. So I'm seeing the financial tips, and I'm like, hmm.
I miss my I usually try to do finance Fridays. So on Fridays I give a financial tip. I forgot, ended up going to the range unexpectedly today. So the tip today, I'll give it to y'all. I'm gonna post a video tomorrow. Is it's the first of the year. Pull your credit report. Look at your credit report, pull it. Don't just use them apps, Credit Karma and all that, and they tell you what's on there. Pull your actual credit report from the 3 major bureaus and look at it to know what's on there. Make sure it's accurate, and if not, dispute it. Get rid of it.
Okay. Hey, y'all heard it right here on Big Lock TV. Y'all better check that credit. Don't just say it's bad. Cause look, I'm the number one. I'm the number one suspect. I was like, man, it's bad. I went and looked at it, and it's doing better than what I thought it was.
See,
So
you don't know. You don't know if you don't know.
doing way better than I thought it was. So what would you just the regular Experian, those three?
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Pull it from there and look at it again. Review it. Did you know that you can raise your score up just by or making sure that the personal information is accurate? So your address, your phone number, your date of birth, your name. Your name should match how it is on your driver's license. But if the name is not, if it just says, John Smith instead of John A. Smith, dispute it or get it, figure out how to get it off of there. And that just the personal information section alone, if you get that corrected and accurate, that can make your score go up. That's before you even touch the collections or late payments and inquiries and anything else.
Whew. We getting blessed here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We getting firearm instruction tips from one of the best in Kansas City.
Thank you.
Gotta give you a
I'll take a
flower.
drink to that.
I mean, you made me feel bad. I'm killing the environment. I'm gonna drink my water off camera too. Classy.
Okay. Sorry, somebody was calling me.
Oh, I thought you had went off camera to take your drink.
Oh no. Oh, is that why you said classy? Oh,
I was like, it was so classy.
No, I'm about to take it right here.
Oh, going back to the gun side, we're gonna tie into the financial side. If I was a first time gun buyer, what would be a reasonable price to start at? Like, I know that's hard to say. I don't want to ask a specific gun, but just
I was gonna say I appreciate that because most people say, "Well, what's a good first gun?" That's not very realistic to answer.
no.
Because then it goes into, okay, well, what are you using it for? You gonna carry it? Is it staying at home? So that's a whole nother. But if I were to say a good price range for a first gun, I would say between 3 to 4, maybe 450. And the first thing that comes to mind is a Taurus. A Taurus is a very, very decent gun. And I mean, Taurus is a good gun. It's been around for years. It's tried and true. But if you become an enthusiast or a gun collector, you'll realize that Taurus is a little bit further down on the list than other manufacturers as you keep going. But for somebody who it's new, it's their first gun, I would definitely say try to aim for a Taurus, and then work your way from there. Smith and Wesson is a good one, good price range.
Yes.
Them shields, them EZs. So yeah, Smith and I would say between 3 to 450 is a good price.
3 to 450. I think that's great. I think that's a great price. You know what I bought my first gun at?
What?
$200.
What was it? What was it? What was it?
A Jimenez Arms. You know what a Jimenez is?
Yes, I do.
Jimenez Arms 380.
Ooh.
Worst gun I ever owned in my
Ooh,
life.
do you see my face? I said, ooh.
So they also they shadow them off on the company's names, but the Jimenez Arms and Jemison. Yeah, Jemison.
Didn't they get rid of them because who was it? Somebody shot up something with one of them guns, and they got sued. And then, like you said, they started putting their name up under other folks' names. But I can't remember what exact situation happened. But I know something happened to where they got sued for a shooting that occurred. But
yeah, it's a cheap gun you can get, just like High Point. It's a cheap gun you can get, $100, $150, something like that. And I was able to get one at the age of 19. I used to have squib loads, all kind of stuff, like the magazine, or the bullets would just fall out the magazine, just. So it was one of the worst guns I ever had. I got rid of it shortly afterwards.
I still own my very first firearm, and I think I'm going to keep it. I've learned not to sell or get rid of my firearms for real, unless it's truly just a horrible gun or I got 2 of whatever. I keep all of them. But my first one was a Beretta Nano. I bought it from a pawn shop for $400.
Beretta Nano, that sounds nice right there.
A Beretta Nano. Yep.
What's your favorite gun at the moment?
My favorite handgun is my SIG P365 SAS.
Who the sass?
That thing is with me wherever I'm at. It's right there. I love that gun. Outside of that, like I said, if it comes to shotguns, I love my Mossbergs. I got the 590s, 500 Shockwave, and then I love AKs. AKs are very simple.
I'm digging it because we spoke about it earlier. I most definitely want to get me a I don't know what's going on right there, but I want to get me a Zostova 92. Mm-hmm. I just got to get me one. We got to see what it's hitting on. But it's
Have
coming.
You shot it?
I've shot one. Shout out to Refrigerator Q. Shout out to the Pit, and shout out OG $2. I was able to go shooting with them guys over at the Pit, and Refrigerator Q has a Z-Pep 92 that he customized with a nice gold finish handguard and a Malcolm X AK-47 magazine, and I was able to shoot it, and I fell in love. I know what I want. So it's gonna be my first AK, my first Kalashnikov. So I'm ready.
You don't love it.
I'm already loving it. Every time I send the guy money, I'm just happy. I'm just like, oh, I'm so much closer.
A little bit more.
I'm sorry, say what?
I just said a little bit more to go, and it's yours.
A little bit more. Shout out to Spirit Arms for letting me make payments on the Zostova 92, and he'll do it for you. Yeah, shout out Spirit Arms LLC. Check them out on Facebook. Them guys are still amazing. They still doing wonderful works. I just finished another AR. See, that's the problem. I'm paying off $1,000 AK, but I built an AR for like $400. I could have just went ahead and finished it, but I got a little thing for ARs. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Them so you like to okay, when you build, how do you build? This men are weird. And I'm a quick little story. When I first got into guns, this guy was trying to impress me and told me that he built a gun. And all he did, eventually come to find out. So then once he saw that I was, in the store with the springs and the detents and doing all this, he's like, You did that? I said, yeah. Don't you know how to build? Shit, I just had the upper and the lower and I put it together. I'm like, I'm out here thinking you doing something. And he ain't did shit. So what's your version of build? What is your version of build? That's
okay. My version of build, ladies and gentlemen. I'm building the lower from the 80%. I'm building it through.
Okay.
The upper.
Nah. Yeah.
.com.
The lower is the hard part. The lower is the difficult part.
No, it's not.
Well, I think with the upper, you gotta have the right tools. If you don't have the right tools, then it ain't gonna work.
Bingo. So aligning the gas key for everything to line up. That gotta hit. So and the fact I know everything, I feel like the fact that I've been able to master the lower part, in my opinion, I might not be a master, but the fact I know I can put it together, I know it's gonna go bang. I mean, that's all it takes. And I feel like that's a major part of what I want to be able to establish for other people, because that's what I've been to people in my community who close to me. I feel like I've been helping people around me. That's why I moved to YouTube. Hey man, I got some popcorn in my boat carrier group. I'm like, what? Can you get it out? I'm taking guns apart, and I'll never take apart a ATI Omni Hybrid AR ever again. I took one apart and it exploded.
Look, I'm sitting here messing with one of these.
Ooh, that's right there. That's what it was. The front, the real pin. You can't pull it out too far because the spring and the detent just
because the detent go in first, then the spring. You got to put the detent in, then the spring, and then that's gonna stop it to where you can just pull it. It's only gonna go so far.
Oh, this was a complete gun. I was just taking it apart, like just pink, and just to take the upper off.
Oh, they didn't do something right. They didn't do something right.
They didn't do something right. I called them. They eventually made it right. But I was like, that was my first time messing with somebody else's gun. Somebody was like, bro, I know you good with guns and stuff. For me, my first time touching somebody's gun, and it was an ATI Omni Hybrid, and it was to do that. I'm like, I'm not doing this no more, because I was like, bro, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I think it'll shoot, bro. I was like, bro, I want to return you your gun the way you gave it to me. I'm on the phone with them now. They sent the part. I put it in, just like, I'm not doing this no more with this gun.
You can't let that overcome you. You gotta go bounce back.
Nah, I know a lot of stores won't even sell. I ain't gonna speak on them like that.
Look, you can talk about mine, because I know mine gonna go bang, bang, bang. all day.
Right, that's a polymer lower, or that's polymer?
It's a hybrid, so it's polymer, but then it has the metal parts, like the where the yeah. So it has metal parts to it, but it's mainly polymer. This was the very first gun I built, so I probably just have a little bit of a sentimental value to it. But that was the very first one that I built, and then after that, I just
yeah. I mean, shout out to you. Then you doing the with an ATI on the hybrid. Come on now.
Hey, when you're on a budget, you got to make it work.
I'm working with them Andersons. Ain't nothing wrong with Anderson. You got to tell me. But it's the thing with the ARs, the ARs are nothing. They're the grown man's Lego, because the parts are so interchangeable. There's 40 places you can go get a lower from, 40 places you can go get an upper from. You can piece all these pieces together, swap. The AK though,
it's simplified. It keeps it simple.
Keep it simple, nice, smooth, sexy, and it's gonna work. It's gonna go bang. Not too many parts.
That's it. Because with the AR, you have one, like you said, one wrong spring, one detent that ain't right, and it is not gonna do anything, or it's gonna explode in your hands.
And I encourage anybody who got an AR, get you a oops kit.
Have to. I keep a
Get
oops
you
kit close.
get you some backup firing pins, get you some backup parts for your boat carrier group, get you some backup.
Them springs and detents, because they'll go just like this and you'll never find it
You'll
again.
never find it. Never
Ever.
find it. Oh, what's we gotta. I know it's like, oh, we having good talk with that on the hybrid. Oh, that took me back. But since then, I've been helping people work on their guns, and I've been everybody been getting their stuff back in intact. I wanna do what you do. I'm definitely inspired by what you've been able to accomplish.
You do it better. It sounds like you out there doing your thing.
I appreciate it. We're trying to do a little something on YouTube and show folks, different things with different guns, oiling and
You gave me
uh
some tips.
for real.
Hmm. Earlier with the hashtags and when the timing and things like that. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Check out my YouTube too. I hope some of the stuff on there is education. A lot of my shorts might be just, music videos and me showing the gun. But a lot of stuff I have been trying like how to zero your scope in, how to do this, things you need when you go hunting. We trying to get there. But tonight is about you. But what's one financial tip you wish you knew sooner rather than later?
Budgeting. Like for real budget. Growing up, just like guns, my parents never talked to me about money. I just thought I knew they worked and they paid bills, but I didn't know how, why, rhyme or reason. I didn't. It was never discussed in our household. So I wish that um, I had a better understanding on the value of money and the impact that it makes on your day to day life. I wish I knew the value of every dollar. I wish I knew again how to budget because I would be a lot further along in life financially than I am right now if I had those skills. So it is how to manage my money and then make my money work for me. Leaving your money in a savings account is probably one of the worst things you could do. Leave a couple dollars in there, but make your money work. Put your money to work. Invest it in something. Make sure that it has some type of return on it. So my biggest financial skill I wish I learned sooner is budgeting.
I respect it. I might be hitting you up. And it's just about doing it. It's just about having the discipline and saying, my mom used to tell me, boy, stop eating all that expensive stuff. Your stomach don't know if you had red lobster or hot dog. So eat a hot dog.
That's real. That is real. Your stomach does not know.
Your stomach do not know. So shout out my Dukes. Um, that's some great financial tips. I sell life insurance, and so I also definitely in tune and definitely like what saying people be saying about what you need to do financially because setting yourself up or setting families up to prepare for the fall of a loved one is something that we should speak about more in our community. It's so important because that's some of the things that end up tearing families apart. It's just that struggle and all that had to be had as a conversation and a few dollars a month.
My daughters, they got upset with me this summer. We sitting here on the couch. I was on my laptop. I said, "Hey, if I die tomorrow, who y'all want to go live with?" They was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm working on my will. I'm updating my will. I want y'all opinion." Like because our parents didn't have those conversations with us, so it took me being 30 some years old for me to have that conversation with my dad and my mom to figure out what it is that they want for their end of life. So my kids know we talk often like, hey, this is what's happening. What y'all gonna do with these guns when I die? Because that's guns are an investment. People don't realize that guns are a way to now don't go spending all your money buying guns. But if I ever hit hard times like that, I will absolutely look, I see you. I will absolutely go take my stuff to the pawn shop, sell it, put it on what is it? Was it a gun broker doctor? Whatever I need to do to sell this gun to get me some money in my pocket. Guns are they hold value. So I tell them that too. Like, hey, these guns are worth something. Y'all got property, y'all got guns. I don't know what more y'all gonna get from me, but hey, that should be enough to cover something.
You never lied. I wanted to ask that. I was like on a financial tip, and I can have somebody prove it.
Oh
But
yeah.
most definitely, golden guns, and that's what it is.
I started
You
doing
gotta
that
have
this
some
summer, collecting gold, silver, platinum, titanium, just buying little pieces.
and bullets.
Okay, can we talk about that?
Stage is yours.
So when I worked at the gun store, I had the privilege. I was very, very privileged. I was very, very oh, you put me on. Not that you gave me the whole screen. Okay, so I was very privileged and very blessed when I worked at the gun store that the owner was like, hey, we about to go to the caves, we're gonna go shoot. So we would go shoot, and then he was like, okay, you can have the rest of the bullets. Here go these. Customers, hood homies is what we call them. The hood homies would come up. I can't get my gun to work right. And so, I'm gonna take their mag out because of course they would bring it in loaded. Take the mag out, be doing this, like, oh, okay, cycle it through for a second, pick the bullets up. I'll put them in a plastic bag for me. What's wrong? So I would put them in a plastic bag and I would handle what you about to do with them? Why you need them in a plastic bag? Or I'm like about to load their magazines back up. Nah, I'm about to throw them out. No, you're not. You're gonna let me have them. Thank you. So I spent so much time getting free ammunition from working at the gun store, shooting half a box, taking the other half a box home. When I would go to the range with students, I would go with women or men or whatever, and they would shoot a few rounds. Like, okay, I'm done. And I'm like, okay, well, you can say, they were like, well, what am I gonna do with the rest of these bullets? You could shoot them, you could take them home, save them for next time. No, I don't want to do that. You go home and take them. Bet. I got him. So now I am spending a lot of my time. Every time I get paid, I purchase some ammunition, just to stockpile. But I was very spoiled for about 9 months to a year, so where I just had ammunition just come to me all the time.
Must be nice.
I said that I'm grateful. I was very privileged, and I'm very grateful for that privilege.
Hey, shout out to the ancestors for blessing you.
Listen.
Look, cause I need the bullet fairy to rain down on me. A couple 223, 308, 7.62 by 39s, 9 millimeters, 308s,
At this
anything.
point, I need 5.7. I need some 5.7 rounds because those, I'm not spending my.
And that's another thing. They be like, people, ooh, you want to buy this gun? I'm like, what's the caliber? It'd be like some shit like that. And I'd be like, no.
Nope.
I don't want to shoot 6.5. I don't want to shoot 5.7. I don't want to shoot 300 blackout. I don't want to shoot 6 millimeter art. I don't want to shoot
308, 10 millimeter. Nope.
I'm saying I got the 308. We getting it down to $1 a bullet. So every time I shoot, it's like throwing a bullet at some. I'm throwing $1 at somebody. So that's not as bad.
In a strip club.
I mean,
no.
I
Look,
I
went too
a
far.
lot of time in Atlanta. I can't say I haven't been to TI's Be Live.
My bad. I didn't mean to offend.
It's all good. We throw bullets like we throw dollars. Yep. We down to $1 right now though.
Okay. Well, I still got to have that. I got a 30-30. I got
Is that lever action?
Huh?
Is that lever action?
Yes. Well, no, this one isn't. You know the same gun that Malcolm X had in the window in the picture?
M1 carbine.
Yes, that's what I have.
That's not an AK, ladies and gentlemen. It's M1 carbine.
It's not an AK. It's definitely not. I think people associate wood a lot of times with AKs, but no. Then the 5.7. I think those are the two major calibers that I have where I'm like, I'm not shooting this gun. It's not happening.
I'm not spending that money.
410s are hard to come by. My daughters own a 410. They got a shotgun. Those are tough to come by and they're not cheap.
I'm 22. I'm 22 LR. I like the plink. It's the same thing. He ain't got to go bang. It just got to go pop.
It's going to do something.
Now
let's go back to this 380 you got.
The 380 was terrible. It's gone. It was just the worst thing I
Oh,
ever.
okay. I thought you still had it. I was gonna say, we don't do that around
No,
these parts.
no. That was the first gun I got at 19 for $200. That's why we was
Okay.
asking about price points. But $200, $200, that what got me. I probably would have been better off with the High Point because the High Points definitely have a better reputation with the magazines. It was just simple, small stuff. It was just a cheap made gun. That's why I'm not gonna ask a specific gun because guns feel different for the hand. They feel different for the person. It feels different for how you're gonna choose to carry. So I never like to ask what gun specifically, but like what price range.
I appreciate that.
It's like common courtesy. Now it's like because then you can't say a certain gun because I might be in California. You might tell me to go pick up the I gotta go pick up the Hellcat. I think Hellcat got 10, but I think
Yep.
it carry up to 13 to 15.
Not in
So
California.
no. How you feel about the limitation of rounds when it comes to carrying? Do you think that has any effect on?
No, I do not. I feel like it doesn't. It's just like criminals getting guns. Like, okay, you put these limits out there, but if they want it, they're gonna get it.
Right.
So I think it does have some weight because of course in California that they're not the laws, but the charges and things that they are gonna get or how much the penalty behind it is a lot stricter, of course, but if you want something bad enough, you're gonna figure out a way to get it. But I don't agree with it. I'm so grateful that I live in the free state that I live in. I don't even agree with states that have you not register, but register or have to get a new permit every time you want to buy a gun. I don't need you to know what guns I'm getting. I don't want you to know how often I get it. Or what if I've gone into gun stores and had them run my background check and then turn around like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want it no more. So what does that do with that permit? And these are things that I don't know, but I'm grateful that I don't have to know these things because I live in a free state to where I walked out. The reason why I'm on punishment, I put myself on punishment in April from buying guns. I walked into the store and I walked out. I bought 5 handguns or 5 guns in one day. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Once I was trying to struggle and I'm walking out the store and I'm like, why?
Why did you?
I still don't have an answer. I had some money in my pocket. I was getting good deals because I was buying as many as I was. And a couple of them were just things like, okay, I've been wanting this gun for a minute. I got the money to buy it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it.
Oh, you spoiled yourself that day. That's okay. We ain't got to answer.
It is not okay. We
just
talking about budgeting.
It's okay. It's good. It did it now.
Yeah, that's what. So now,
guess what you gonna tell yourself in your brain? Well, it don't make sense to sell them because then I'm gonna lose money. So I might as well keep them.
You hear me? And they getting kept.
It's gonna be a hospital for people who buy too many guns.
I need some type of intervention. I really do. But I transitioned my focus from accumulating and just buying guns to upgrading. Most of my guns were stock. They just straight off the shelf, straight out the box. And that's just how I ran them. Because I'm a avid believer in not necessarily using red dots, especially on a pistol and all that, lasers and all that. I usually stay away from them on my handguns. Right. But now I am doing things like I just dropped my first trigger in a Glock, like in a pistol. I built ARs for the last year and a half, but this is the first time I ever dropped a trigger into a handgun, and I was so proud of myself.
Apex.
No, it was a Timney trigger.
Okay, but shout out to you though. Go on there, you go, girl.
Pat myself on the back.
You know, celebrate you.
Thanks.
That's amazing though, because I'm trying to most definitely get into a realm where I'm knowing every gun I have and watching the videos and then like retaining the information so I can then regurgitate it later. Spit it back out later. It's just gonna be crazy. I'm trying to get that done for all the guns because with some of the laws coming about, if you can keep your gun out of a punch. I mean, out of a FFL place. You don't have to worry about your gun getting registered in that system overnight.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens if a gun has to be at a place. Overnight, it has to get registered into their system. So it's like for anybody who want to stay away from stuff like that, small stuff that you can handle, you need to try to handle it yourself.
I tell people all the time when they hit me up, oh, can you fix this or can you look at my gun? I'll say, yep, I'll look at it. I'll tell you what's wrong with it. This is what's wrong with it. This is the issue. And then they'll say, oh, can you fix it? I can, but you can get on YouTube and do it for free because I'm going to charge you at least $75. That's just my labor. And that's just with something simple. If it's more than something simple, if I got to do too much, then you definitely going to charge more. But like you can do it for yourself and know how to fix your gun if it break again. Just get on YouTube. There's no reason why anybody should. There's not many reasons why anybody should need a gunsmith necessarily, and that's why I charge the amounts that I charge sometimes for it, because I'm literally trying to get people to say, "Oh, never mind, I don't want to pay that." Because why do you own a gun if you don't know how to fix it yourself, or if you don't even know how to look at it and try to narrow down what might be wrong with it? But just to come and say, "Oh, my gun, I can't pull my trigger, you don't have an idea of what's wrong with it." So I'm a very avid believer in at least trying to sit down and figure it out yourself.
That make a whole shit ton of sense. Problem solving. My gun won't rack back. Let's start with the basics. Drop the magazine, rack the slide. Okay, yeah, and go on from there. But that makes perfect sense. But a lot of times people don't think that. A lot of people don't know lubrication.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. And sometimes over lubrication could be your issue too.
I think that was my issue today at the range when I first got there.
Okay, over lubrication.
Yeah, so the guy, when he gave it to me to test for him, he had oiled it up. But when I first got there, like every other round was getting the stovepipe. It was, not ejecting, or it would kind of come up out the mag, but it wasn't loaded all the way up. And so after I wiped it down for a second, because it was a brand new rifle, after I wiped it down, it ran perfectly fine. So I think he just put too much lube in there.
Yeah, that could most definitely been contributing to the fact that, or the magazine you was having, you the master. You the master. This
not at all. I just know how to. I've done it enough times so where I can narrow it down.
Because that's what be running through my mind. Because people still call me to actually somebody. Oh my goodness, somebody just hit me up in my DM. Like they was like, "I'm at the range. Can you call me? I'm having problems with like one of the guns that I actually have." Was like, I see you have this gun. I'm running with these problems. And I'm sorry I did not get to you, bro. I've been having a busy day, a busy week, to say the least.
That's just not the place to be reaching out asking for help. I mean, they could have asked. I have so many questions.
It's all good, and I feel bad. I still want to help. It's just like, but and I feel like in videos I've said it. You want to hit me up? Hey, hit me up. It's whatever. I feel like the people who surround and pour energy into me and at least subscribe to me, I feel like everybody's family.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I could have been doing anything else. Or ask anybody else for you, the fact for you to value my opinion. I'm like,
I agree with that. I agree. I was just thinking at the range in the moment.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm having issues with this.
Right? Hold on. Like, put your ear protection back on first of all. Cause what? Yeah, I'm just thinking in that moment I probably would ask the RSO who might have been there, but I know all ranges don't have RSOs. But a lot of times, even the people who are checking you in at the gun range, they are fairly knowledgeable. So that would have been in the moment right then. Now, what hit you up after was like, hey, this is what happened. How can I prevent it from happening next time? Or if it was still persistent, I was at the range. This is what was happening. Help me out. But
sometimes,
my man called you in a moment.
Sometimes, as a man, I think it's prideful. I'm just maybe that's the thing, because I've been at the range and it's just like your gear don't look like they gear.
It don't matter.
Your gun on the line. And it's like, no, ain't nobody saying, it's of course, it's just like stuff is in your brain. None of this stuff matters. Like we human at the end of the day. But I feel like sometimes men may feel that perception. That's just like this maybe just someone perceiving to it, but like it's just like too prideful to stop this dude. Ask like, hey, can you help me out over here? And
So I was in a debate on Facebook earlier this week. Well, not in a debate. Somebody asked a question, and I just threw my little 2 cents out there. Reasons why us brown folks don't train or historically haven't trained as much, and I gave my opinion. For men, it's pride or their ego. They don't want to ask questions, or they feel like they know enough to where they don't need to ask questions. For women, it is our lack of confidence or our comfortability. We're not. That's the same reason why I got started in this world. Is we're not comfortable going to the gun range. The people, let's say me and you at the gun range, and I'm feeling a little awkward or uncomfortable. Your patience may not be up to par, up to the level that I need it to be for me to feel comfortable. And that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of women don't go to the range. But when you said that ego and that y'all confidence be through the damn roof, and it don't even need to be there sometimes. But even the way you said that homie hit you up and was like, actual question, how good would that make the next person feel? You know what I mean? Like, give somebody else that experience too. But it's okay to ask questions. It is okay. It's okay.
I ain't against it. I heard y'all hit it today.
You don't know
Ask
what you don't
questions.
know.
Right. It's closed mouths do not get fed.
Period.
Man, oh my, it's been. I feel like we could talk forever though. Like,
Hey, we've been going. I
we've
was
been
gonna say we're
going.
gonna keep going. I gotta run to get my phone charger, but we can keep going. I don't mind.
No, with that being said, we can always do a part two.
I'm down.
We
I'm
can
down.
always do a part two. I feel like we start, interacting more. Like welcome you back to the YouTube world, And I also want to jump back on Instagram and start doing things. I need to build my platform up over there, but I feel like you offered a lot of helpful things tonight. I want to ask you a couple more questions, and I love to
Let's go.
let's get it. 5 helpful tips for women joining or wanting to get a new gun, or anybody want to get a new gun and jumping into the gun game. Like just 5 tips or 3. And I feel like I know I just hit you with it straight
I
out
got
the bat.
a couple. I think I got a couple. Ask questions. It is okay to ask questions. When it comes to women or anybody, like you said, anybody, do whatever you can to test the gun out. I've bought guns just like, oh, okay, I like that one. I want to buy it. Hold it, pull, rack the slide, check the magazine, make sure all these things feel comfortable, because once you walk out the store, you can't return a gun like you can a t-shirt. So just make sure that it is something that you truly want to buy. If you can, run it first, go to the range, shoot it, rent it, before you purchase it. Learn the 4 basic universal safety rules and live by them. Learn and live by those 4 basic rules. There's so many more rules when it comes to guns, but if you can learn and live by the 4 basic rules, then you can go and grow from there. That was 3. 4. Oh, go ahead.
What is the 4 basic rules of gun safety?
Never point your firearm at anything you don't want to hurt, harm, or destroy. Okay, number 1 is always perform a safety clearance check. So that means drop the magazine, rack the slide, make sure there's nothing down in the barrel. Always make sure you look down in the barrel to make sure that. 2 is never point your firearm at anything you don't want to hurt, harm, or destroy. 3 is keep your finger out of the trigger well or off of the trigger until you are sure of your target and you're ready to shoot. So do not touch that trigger unless you're already lined up and you're ready to go. The last one is know your target and what's beyond it. What that means is wherever that round touches, if it stops that threat, but it keeps going and it hits somebody's house, or if it hits another individual, you're responsible for all of that. So knowing that, and that's not going to stop me. Now, if it's somebody else or something else going on and if there's a threat coming at me, it's not going to necessarily stop me from stopping that threat. But I'm going to also be aware of the fact that if I hurt somebody else or if I damage this property, I got to pay for it. I'm responsible for whatever that is. So those are the 4 universal safety rules.
Y'all heard it here today. He and I'm sorry I had cut you off. I was like, you had hit on them rules. I was like, hold on, let's ask the I had to ask it in that moment, but
My
you was
bad.
explaining. No, you good. You good.
But yeah, knowing those safety rules, ask questions, try to fire the firearm before you get it. Know what your purpose is. Do you want to keep it at home or do you want to carry it with you? Because those are two different types of guns that it's two different paths that you're going down. Be comfortable, dry fire, practice at home. Be and know that your firearm is just one tool. It's not everything. You're not Superman or Superwoman now that you got this gun. You still need to be. I keep a flashlight taser in my car. I keep a knife with me. I make sure that people around me or whomever have a stun gun. Know the difference between pepper gel and pepper spray. Pepper gel is better than pepper spray. So just know that there are a multitude of other tools that you can use in order to defend yourself or to stop a threat, and a gun is just one of them. If you are going to have a gun in your home, make sure that those people who live in or frequent the home are also comfortable with it because they might be impacted by it as well. Have a safety plan for your house. Have a safety plan as far as if you need to stay in your home, somebody comes in and you need to stay in, you know what the plan is, your kids know what the plan is. We're going to go in this room, we're going to sit here and we're going to do this. Also knowing the exit route. All right, if you're on this level of the house, go out this window or this door. If you're on that level of the house, go out this door or that door. So just making sure that you and everybody is aware of what that not everybody, but everybody who lives in your home is aware of what that safety plan is. I think that's all I got off the top of my head.
On top of your head, I think you killed it. I think you killed it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just you've been a blessing. You've been a blessing to the video tonight.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate everything. I appreciate you and your time. That was some deep stuff that you hit on. I appreciate you for being who you are, celebrating you in this moment right now. And that's why we had to bring you out tonight to interview you, Miss Latasha Monique Jacobs, Synergy Tactical out there in Kansas City, Missouri. So we appreciate you so much. You've been a blessing. We got to do it again.
I was gonna say we got part two, so this ain't it.
Nah, this ain't it. We're gonna bring this thing to a close, but we definitely gonna do a part two. I feel like it's more information, more questions I definitely must ask you on. And most definitely hope that we can build a relationship and talk about stuff like this more often because uh the Second Amendment and everything that involves itself around it is important to our lifestyle that we live here in America. I do sometimes, am very thankful for the situation of where I live and how things are. Because knowing that other people have had this right stripped away from them, and you see what happens in those societies where their rights have been stripped away from them, and how that those people can be treated, and that the defense that they have to fight back is not there. So we can hit on it all the time. You feel me? I so appreciate it.
I'm with it. Well, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out. I was definitely shocked to get the interview, so thank you. I'm grateful for it. Keep doing what you're doing.
No, most definitely. I saw you. I'm like, because I was just following people who I seen was in the firearm industry, and you were one of the few. One of the men and women out there in the YouTube game or Instagram game who was a black female doing anything impactful with the guns, and I was just like, I gotta hit up. I seen what you was doing. I seen the accomplishment, the achievements they were being broadcast to me. So I was like, I was happy I was hitting the follow button, and this is what social media is supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be, the networking, and I appreciate the opportunity, and I thank God I ran across you.
Thank you.
Most definitely. So it's been a blessing. It's been a lot. It's been a cut up. It's been like I've been talking with family. It's just our second time talking. So
yep.
Again, if there's anything you want to finish off with tonight, I'm gonna leave the stage to you. Then I come back when you finish. You want me to stay?
No, I was just trying to think. You put me on the spot. All right. Again, learning those universal safety rules. Stay protected. Stay dangerous. know that this is your right, and use it to your fullest capacity. Thank you again, Big Lock TV, Latasha Monique with Synergy Tactical.
Y'all, I appreciate everybody who came through tonight. Y'all clap it up. Y'all clap it up. Y'all clap it up for real. It was a blessing having Miss Latasha come through tonight. I feel it's very impactful that women definitely join hands with everybody and jump in this firearm industry, jump in the firearm game, keeping themselves protected, and just equaling up that playing field when it comes to women carrying, men carrying. I appreciate everybody coming through tonight. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the question. I appreciate DJ Play Nice, Wife is of the Suburban, and all the other people who was able to run through tonight. I appreciate y'all and anybody else who will watch this video in the future. I appreciate Miss Latasha Jacobs for coming through, dropping some gems. We're going to try to cut some of these videos up, present them to you later. But this has been Big Lock TV. I appreciate everybody. I can't thank y'all enough. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy New Year. And it's been your boy out.